feet. Stand on your feet and go with me to the Song of Solomon. We are in our Black History as Told by the Prophet series. All right. This Black History is Told by the Prophet series is, what's going on right now. Let's go ahead and go back to the scripture. Go back to the scripture, sister. All right. It's probably the third one then. All right. Just go ahead and there you are. There you are. Song of Solomon. Song of Solomon. We're going to, you don't have to necessarily face Jerusalem. I want everybody to be on the same page right now. We're going to be talking about something big, okay? And we're going to read the 5th verse together. Song of Solomon 1 and 5. Song of Solomon 1 and 5. Everybody that have it, say, I got it.
I got it.
Everybody that don't have it, say, Lord, help me.
Lord, help me. Okay.
Dr. Ward, you got an iPad.
I got it.
All right. We're going to go ahead and read this together with all the vigor, all the vitality that we have. We're going to read in unison, and we're going to let everybody know in this building what we are talking about. We're going to read this together, okay? Verse 5. What does it say? I am black, but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar and the curtains of Solomon. I'm going to read that again. I am black, but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar and the curtains of Solomon. We are in our Black History as Told by the Prophets series right now, and we're going to start on the ground floor, part 1, color. Go ahead and tell your neighbor as you sit down, color.
Color.
All right. All right. Have a seat in the presence of the Lord. Some years ago, in my formative years in high school, we had studied dealing with the subject of Black history. The subject matter included Harriet Tubman, Booker T. Washington, W.E. Du Bois, and my favorite, George Washington Carver, all of whom made incredible differences in this land.
Yes.
However, of the previous was somehow that some way it was connected to slavery. Today, our young people, although it is the information age, only have the history of themselves as being slaves, or where their people came from were slaves. Okay? But by the grace of God, this series was put together to explain that our history in the Holy Bible is indeed intertwined. All right? So, I must say that in the last few years, after asking my son what you learn in school, whether they've been in high school or in undergrad, they came up with a softened version of Black history that now highlights the dancers, such as Josephine Baker and Alvin Ailey, singers and musicians such as Ray Charles, Louis Armstrong, and my girl Ella Fitzgerald, and sports figures such as Jackie Robinson, Jesse Owens, Jack Jackson, Johnson, the boxer, the first heavyweight. All right. And now entering into that honor and history by passing, I want to go ahead and pay homage to Kobe Bryant too. All of these individuals were excellent in their craft, and they changed the field for all people. It's safe to say that the innovations and skills lie with us, okay? It's safe to say that this particular people has a set of intelligence and arts and athletics and also legislation that supersedes most other nations. but they all have one thing in common: their color. Their color. In Washington, D.C., at the National Museum of Black History, upon planning this visit, my good friend, Brother Thomas Gordon, he went on and told me don't start from the top floor. Means don't start from the bottom floor to go up, because you get lost going from the bottom floor going up. But rather start from the top floor and go down, because you'll see all the innovations and everything's going on, and then you understand what's going on at the bottom floor. But in this series, I find it necessary that we have to go ahead and start from the bottom floor, just so you can get an understanding of what's going on, just so you can get an understanding of the importance of knowing and identifying yourself with a particular people, and to shine a light for the rest of the world, to show the true fact of what God intended for us to be, the priest to the whole entire world. I'm going to deal with color. I'm going to start from the bottom floor, and we're going to work our way up. Amen? Y'all ready? Put your seatbelt on. Let's go ahead and take a ride in the Word of God, and we're going to see what God has to say about this. Our history is intertwined in this book. We're going to see it today. I'm so glad to have my little brother with me. He's going to be my reader. I would go ahead and use my Bible, but it's on this last leg. So I'm going to go ahead and stick to the iPad. All those who are against that, well, you got to get your phone and you bend it. So Genesis 10 we're going to start out with. So glad my little brother Deldrick is here to read for us. And he was worried about the names. I'm going to help him out. Amen? Amen. Genesis 10, I want to start right where it came from. All right. Noah had 3 boys. Yes. 3 boys he had. And if you exist today, you came from one of these 3 boys. If you did not come from these 3 boys, you do not exist. Let's go ahead and find out. Genesis 10:1. Go ahead and read, Deldrick.
Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah. Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
Keep on reading.
And unto them were sons born after the flood.
Verse 2.
The son of Japheth, Gomer and Magog.
Gomer and Magog.
And Madai and Javan.
Javan. Now let me let you know something. Whenever you see Javan, you always think of Grecians. Cause that's a Grecian land. Okay, continue on to read, Deldrick.
And Tubal and Meshech. And Tyrus.
And Tyrus. Keep on reading.
And the sons of Gomer.
Ashkenaz. And Repha.
And Repha. And Togarmah.
Keep on reading.
And the sons of Javan. Elishas. And Tarshish. And Kittim. And Denamim.
Keep on reading.
By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, everyone after its own tongue, and after their families and their nations.
Now, run that thing back, DJ. Go read verse 5 again, because I want you all to get that sunk in your head. Read verse 5 again.
These were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, everyone after his tongue, after their families and their nations.
I remember a few years ago, I wrote this letter to Webster, and I was upset because they said if you were a Gentile, you were not a Jew. So I wrote a letter to say that's not true, because Levi is not a Jew. Naphtali is not a Jew. Dan is not a Jew. So, are they Gentiles? No. Gentiles are the sons of Japheth. They are otherwise called white people, Caucasian people. European. They came from Javan, which is Greece. You get Tubal and Meshach, which is the Black Sea. Yes. You get Taurus, which is the Welsh people. What do they all have in common? They're Caucasian. Keep on reading.
And the sons of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, Phut, and Canaan.
So we got four boys that came from Ham. Cush, Mizraim, Phut, and Canaan. Okay? Now, we're going to go ahead and figure this out. Keep on reading.
And the sons of Cush, Seba, and
Havila.
and Sabta, and Ramaham, and
Sabteka.
and the sons of Ramah,
Sheba.
and Dedan.
Keep on reading.
And Cush begot Nimrod.
And Cush begot Nimrod. You all heard of Nimrod. You remember that show years ago? They had Nimrod as this big, giant white man, and he was supposed to be all over Babylon. This is years ago. This is during the time when they made the 10 Commandments with Moses, the first one. You remember that? No, y'all don't remember that. Keep on reading.
And Cush begot Nimrod. He became a mighty one on the earth.
Yes.
He was a mighty hunter before the Lord, wherefore it said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord.
Meaning that Nimrod is mighty. His whole lineage even comes down to today. How do I know that? We got people sitting up there celebrating Christmas, which is the celebration of the not the celebration of the unconquered sun, meaning that the sun is coming back in. But they're saying that Nimrod is reincarnated as Tammuz. What do you see the Madonna and Child in Brazil? That's Semiramis in Tammuz, Nimrod's son. Who is Semiramis? Semiramis is Nimrod's mother wife. Yeah, he married his mama. All right, continue on to read.
And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, and the land of
land of Shinar. Y'all know that's where all the paganism started. Continue on to read.
Out of the land went forth Ashur,
which is the progenitor of the Assyrians. The Assyrians, keep on reading.
And build Nineveh, and the city of Rehoboth, and Callan.
Keep on reading.
And Risha became between Nineveh and Calah, the same as the great city.
You know that Nineveh, that is the city that Jonah and the well situation happened with. Okay? They were black folks. The sons of Ham are black folks. All right? Let me go ahead and back up a little bit. See, when the Greeks seen the Mizraimites, which is Mizraim, they said, these folks is black. Look at the word Egypt. Look at how the word Egypt is made up. It means black. And then the Greeks seen the Cushites. And they renamed them Ethiopia. Why? Because it came from the word Aethia, meaning burnt face. These are black people. Okay? They have melanin. More melanin than most. Continue on to read.
And Mizraim begot Ludim, and Enamim, and Lehabim, and Naptuim.
Keep on reading.
And Pathrusim.
Yes.
And Caslusim. Out of whom came Philistine.
Oh, the Philistine. And you remember the Philistines? You remember David? You remember the picture that they showed you? They got this little white guy facing this big old giant white guy. That couldn't be further from the truth. These are black people. Continue on to read, Delvin.
In Pathrusim, in Caslusim,
Uh-huh.
out of whom came out of Philistines, in Caphturim.
Uh-huh.
And Canaan begot Sidon,
Sidon.
and his firstborn Heth,
Uh-huh.
and
The Jebusites,
and the Armulite,
Amorites,
and the
Girgasites. Uh-huh. Keep on reading.
and the Hivite,
Yes.
and the Archite,
Uh-huh.
and the Sinite,
Uh-huh.
and the Arvadite,
Arvadite. Uh-huh.
and the Zemarite,
Uh-huh.
and the Himitite,
Uh-huh.
and the afterwards were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad.
Also got all the families of the Canaanites. Now, these are all Canaanites. Now, the Canaanites is where we had what was called the Promised Land. We went out and got. God gave us that land, which is the land of the Canaanites. Okay, remember that. Keep that in mind. Continue on to read.
And the border of Canaanites were from Sidon,
Sidon.
and as thou comest to Gerar
Uh-huh.
unto
Gaza.
Gaza,
Uh-huh.
as they goest unto Sodom
Sodom
and Gomorrah,
and Gomorrah. Now, you heard about Sodom and Gomorrah. They were black folks. Continue on to read.
and Amor and Zeboim,
Uh-huh.
even unto Elisha.
Uh-huh.
These are the sons of Ham after their families, after their tongues, in their countries, in their nations.
Yes. Now look here. I want to go ahead. First of all, Deldrick, you did a wonderful job. Give him a hand. Because, he was sweating, wasn't he?
Man,
Verse 21, I'm going to go ahead and mention in Shem. Okay? Reason why I'm reaching it in Shem is because there's a lineage that came from Shem too. Read Shem.
unto Shem also the father of all the children
Eber.
of Eber, the brother of Japhet, and the elder, even to him were children born.
Now I want to go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and save him and skip that big lineage because there's a whole lot of crazy names in there too. Okay, I'm gonna skip that big lineage. I'm gonna go straight down to after Abraham. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and go to. We're going to go to Joseph. We're going to go after Abraham. He had Isaac. Isaac had Jacob. Jacob had the 12. The last of the 12 is Joseph. Am I right? All right. Let's go ahead and skip down there so we won't have to go through all them names. All right. Skip down to Genesis 37. Genesis 37. So y'all understand that the sons of Ham are all black. The sons of Shem. Let me go ahead and show you. That's the reason why you get Semitic. The word Semitic. You heard the word Semitic. I'm going to go ahead and show you something about these Semitic people. They are not what you think they are. We're going to find out today. 37 and pick it up on the one. Delta, read.
And Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger,
Yes.
in the land of Canaan.
Yes.
These are the generations of Jacob.
Uh-huh.
Joseph, being 17 years old,
Uh-huh.
was feeding the flock with his brethren,
Yes.
and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah,
Uh-huh.
and with the sons of Zelpah,
Uh-huh.
his father wives.
His father's wives. Keep on reading.
And Joseph brought unto his father their evil report.
So he was a snitch. Joseph was a snitch. So they already know they don't like this boy right now. They used to tell me when I was growing up, there's two things that you can't get away from. You can't get away from being a snitch, and you can't get away from being a homosexual. So, I know that God can deliver from all, but I'm glad I wasn't either. Continue on to read.
Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children,
Yes.
because he was the son of the old age.
His old age. Uh-huh.
And he made him a coat of many colors.
Keep on reading, bro.
And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, They hated him
They hated him.
and could not speak peaceably unto him.
Now look here. I'm gonna go ahead and point something out to parents, the ones that are becoming parents, the ones who are brand new parents, the parents that are, they got their teenagers still. Let me go ahead and let you know something. Don't try to treat one child better than the other child, because the kids is gonna hate each other.
Yes.
I mean, I love my parents because one got a whooping, usually everybody else get a whooping. It was just that way. If one got a gift, everybody else got a gift. Right. So that's the way our parents operated. I thank God for Dr. Ward. She was led by the great institution I call Dad. Skip down to verse 12.
And his brethren went to fed their father's flock
Uh-huh.
in Shechem.
And Shechem,
And Israel said unto Joseph, do not thou brethren feed the flock in Shechem? Come, and I will have send thee unto them. And he said unto them, here am I.
Here am I. Now this is the last time that Jacob seen his son before the situation in Egypt.
Yes.
Okay? The very last time. Now skip down to verse 18.
And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay
His
him.
brother was trying to kill him. Skip down to 21. I'm trying to speed this thing through.
And Reuben heard it,
His oldest brother,
and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, let us not kill him.
right, keep on.
And Reuben said unto them, shed no blood, but cast him unto to this pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands, to deliver him to his father
So
again.
Reuben was going to go ahead after they wanted to put him in the pit. Reuben was going to go get him out of the pit and save his brother and send him along his way. But it didn't happen that way. All right. God always have a plan of things. Continue on to read, Delta.
And it came to pass when Joseph was come into his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat. And his coat was many colors that was on him.
Yes.
And they took him and cast him into the pit, and the pit was empty.
Yes.
There was no water.
There was
in it.
no water in it. 25.
And they sat down to eat bread.
Yes.
They lifted up their eyes and looked. Behold, a company of Ishmaelites came to Gilead with their camels bearing spiceries and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt.
So now they see the Ishmaelites. Who are the Ishmaelites? They otherwise they're called Arabs. We know them as Arabs. There's the Ishmaelites, okay? This is their uncles, people. Continue on to read, Delder.
And Judah said unto his brethren, what profit is it we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him.
I want to go ahead and point out something right now. The first one to sell you into slavery was your brother. Let that sink in. Sold you into slavery. The first one sold you to the Ishmaelite. Continue on to read.
For he is our brother and our flesh, and his brother was content. And there passed the Midianites and merchantmen.
Yes.
And they drew and lifted Joseph out of the pit and sold Joseph into the Ishmaelites 20 pieces of silver, and they brought Joseph into Egypt.
And they brought Joseph into Egypt. Now skip down to 36. Let's see what happened to this 17-year-old boy. 36.
And the Midianites sold him into Egypt unto Pharaoh. Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh's, and the captain of the guard.
So he sold him to Potiphar. Let me go ahead and let you know something. God had a hand in this whole thing. Okay? Your brother was the first one to sell you so much for the white devil.
Right.
Mm. Let's go ahead and go to Genesis 19. I'm trying to go ahead and get this stuff out the way. Because, and in fact, yeah, just go to Genesis 19. 30, not 19, 39. Genesis 39. Genesis 39, I'm sorry. Genesis 39. I'm sorry, I put 38 on there, but it's wrong. Genesis 39. I'm going to go ahead and read this to you. 39 and pick it up on verse 1.
And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh's, captain of the guard, an Egyptian that brought him to the land of the Edomites, which has
Ishmaelites,
which had brought him down thither.
Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and help him. Okay, I understand that y'all reading along too. But, just so we can keep things going, I got it. Verse 2, read.
And the Lord was with Joseph.
Yes.
And he says he was a prosperous man.
Yes.
And he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian.
Yes, he was a prosperous man in Egypt. Okay, verse 3, read it, man.
And his master saw that the Lord was with him.
Yes.
And that the Lord made all that he did prosper in his hand.
Everything that Joseph put his hands on prospered and made his master a rich man. That means that boy had power. What is more attractive than money? Power. Why do you think Donald Trump ran for office? Power. All right. Skip down to verse 7.
Verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass after these things that the master wife cast her eyes upon Joseph. And she said, lie with me.
Oh my God. She said, lie with me, because he had what? Power. Well, what did Joseph do? Read.
But he refused and said unto his master's wife, behold, my master's written not what is with me in the house.
Yes.
And he hath committed all that he hath unto my hand.
So he got the power. He don't want to infringe on the power. And plus he knew the law of God even before Moses had it written on the stone. I'm going to let you know something. What we read on Wednesday about the Bible. The Bible said that the word of God was established in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
What was man at? Wasn't
exist.
existing. Okay? Continue on to read, Dudley.
There is none greater in thy house than I. Neither has he kept back anything from me, but thee, because thou art his wife. How can I do this great wickedness and sin against God?
And he said, sin against God? He wasn't going to sin against God. Keep reading, Dildred.
And it came to pass, as she spake unto Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her to lie by her, or to be with her. And it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do this business.
Yes.
And there was none of the men of the house there within.
Read verse 12.
And she caught him by his garment, saying, lie with me. And he lifted his garment in her hand and fled and got him out. And it came to pass when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand, and he was fled forth, she called unto the man of the house and spake unto them, saying, see, he hath brought an Hebrew unto us and mocked us. He came unto me and lied with me, and I cried with a loud voice.
You remember that one movie called Rosewood? You remember when that girl went on and said, he raped me, and started that whole ruckus and had everybody being killed out there. They're trying to go ahead and what did Ella sing? Strange fruit. Strange fruit was being hung everywhere. This same situation happened before that situation happen even in America. Do you see the similarities? Okay? I'm just trying to go ahead and put some visual situations in your head so you can understand what's going on right now. Keep on reading, Doug.
And it came to pass when he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled and got him out.
Yes.
And he laid up his garment by her until the Lord came home.
Yes.
And she spake unto him according to these words.
Now his wife went on and spoke to him. Potiphar's wife went and talked to him, right? Now, Potiphar had committed everything to Joseph's hand. Why didn't Potiphar want to go ahead and ask Joseph what happened? He didn't give him a chance. It sounds like something. It sounds like something. You got to see this whole thing playing out because it sounds too familiar to us. All right, read it.
The Hebrew servant which thou hast brought unto us came in unto me and to mock me. And it came to pass, as I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled out.
So you got the evidence in his hand, in her hand. Continue on to read.
And it came to pass, when his master heard these words of his wife, which she spake unto him, saying, After this manner did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled.
Yes.
And Joseph's masters took him and put him into the prison and place where the king's prisoners were bound, and he was there in prison.
So the master went on and took Joseph and put him in prison. Did he put him on the witness stand? No. He was guilty before proven innocent. You can't tell me that this don't sound familiar to you. Skip down to go to verse of chapter 41, Genesis 41. After all that, Joseph was in the prison. Everything that Joseph done, being in the prison, okay? Everything that boy did turned to gold pretty much. He ended up being what you call that in the jail, when you cleaning up everything, a trustee. He ended up, yeah. Me and you, we know. Chapter 41, we're going to see Joseph as the trustee. 41:1, read it.
And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river.
Now check this out here. He was a trustee, and he had the baker and the butler in jail with him. The baker and the butler had a dream. When they had that dream, Joseph went on and told the butler, well, your dream says you're going to die. And, that's what happened to him. He died. He got executed. But the butler, the baker is going to be restored to his office. But he went on and told the butler, hey, when you get back there, go ahead and don't forget about me. I ain't did nothing. I'm innocent. Tell him about me, and I'll help you out with this dream. Now, 2 full years happened, right?
Finally thought about
2 full years after he was in jail. He was still sitting in jail for 2 whole years. And this dude finally got the light bulb come on and say, hey, I was supposed to say something. Read, man.
And behold, he stood by the river.
And
behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored, kind and fat-fleshed, and they were fed in the meadow.
Yes.
And behold, 7 other kind of came up after them out of the river, ill-favored and lean-fleshed.
Keep on reading.
And stood by the other kind upon the brink of the river.
Verse 4.
And the ill-favored, lean-fleshed kind did eat up the 7 well-favored and the fat kind. So Pharaoh awoke.
Yes, skip down to verse 8.
And it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled.
Yes.
And he sent and called for all the magicians.
He called for the magicians of Egypt.
And all the wise men thereof. Pharaoh told them of his dream, but there was none that can interpret them unto Pharaoh.
Nobody can interpret this dream. Let me go ahead and let you know something. Do you know in Romans, the 3rd chapter, it said until Israel is committed the oracles of God. What is oracles? Answers. So the answers is always going to come from Israel. This is the first example of the answers. Read, man.
And then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day.
Oh, so now he remember, huh? He remembered. 2 years ago? It took you that long to remember? Keep on reading.
Pharaoh was wroth with his servants.
Yes.
Put me in ward in the captain of the guard's house.
Yes.
Both me and the chief baker.
Yes.
And they were dreamed a dream in one night.
Uh-huh.
And I and he
Yes.
were dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream.
Verse 11. Verse 12.
And there was there with us a young man,
Yes.
a Hebrew servant to the captain of the guard, and he told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams, to each man according to his dream, and he did interpret.
Keep on reading.
And it came to pass as he interpreted to us, it was so. It was. And me and his reporter.
No, he said, me he restored.
To my office.
Yes.
And he hanged.
Keep on reading.
Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph and brought him hastily out of the dungeon, and he shaved him and changed his raiment and came unto Pharaoh.
Let me go ahead and let you know something. The Egyptians, they didn't like hair. So they always shaved. You know, you don't really see, all the hairdos that they have, those were wigs. And they always had a braid for their beard and everything. They didn't like to be fuzzy faced. Okay? Like this boy right here. I'm a fuzzy faced boy. Okay? Check this out. I want you to go ahead and I want to skip down to verse 29, and we're going to see what this dream is that Pharaoh had. 29, read.
Behold, there come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt.
So Joseph is interpreting the dream, and he's telling Pharaoh, oh, there's going to be 7 years of great plenty. What else is going on?
And there shall arise after 7 years of famine.
Yes.
And all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land.
7 years is going to be bumble crops. 7 years is going to be greatness going on in the land of Egypt. You couldn't get enough. It's always going to be there. But after the 7 years, it's going to be a famine, not just in that land, but a famine in the whole region. All right? What happened?
And the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason
Yes.
of the famine following. For it shall be very grievous.
It shall be very grievous. 32.
And for that the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice, it was because the things that established by God, and God will surely bring it to pass.
Yes, keep on reading.
Now therefore let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt.
Yes.
Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers upon the land, and take it up a fifth part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years, and let him gather all the food of those good years, and come and lay corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities.
Keep on reading.
And the food shall be for store to the land of against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not throughout the famine.
Keep on reading.
And the thing that was good in the eyes of Pharaoh,
and the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh. Keep on reading.
And in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, can we find such one as this is, a man of whom the Spirit of God is?
Uh-huh.
And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as God hath shown thee all these, there
There is.
is none discreet and wise as thou art.
Yes.
Thou shalt be over my house,
Thou shalt be over my house.
and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled.
Yes.
Only in thy throne will I be greater than thou.
Only in the throne will I be greater than you. So if I was out of the throne, you tell me what to do. Do you know that Pharaoh made him the viceroy over the whole land of Egypt? Now this little Hebrew boy that was sold by his brothers, put in jail because a woman lied on him, is now the boss. Now I can tell you that Potiphar and his wife is probably shaking in their boots by now. All right. Now, this is what happened. Read 42.
And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand,
Yes.
and put it onto Joseph's hand,
Yes.
and arrayed him for in vestures and fine linen,
Yes.
and put gold chain about his neck.
See, that's the reason why, having chains and rings on us is, what Trinidad James said, all gold everything ain't no uncommon thing for us. All right. Keep on reading.
And he had made him to ride in the second chariot which he had,
Uh-huh.
and cried before him, bow the knee, and he made him the ruler over all of the land of Egypt.
And made him the ruler over all the land of Egypt. Verse 44, read, man.
And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without thee shall no man lift his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt.
Uh-huh.
And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zephaniah.
Zephaniah, which is they always name us after their gods. You remember that series called Roots. He made Kunta's name Toby. They always want to rename you. Why? Because they want to take you away from who you are. All right. Continue on to read. And
he gave him to wife Ashpenaz,
Asenath, uh-huh,
the daughter of Potiphar,
uh-huh,
priest of On, and Joseph went out over all the land of Egypt.
So he went on and gave him an Egyptian wife. This is what someone want to go ahead and point out here. Joseph got his wife from an Egyptian. Okay? A lot of people don't know that Egypt is on the African continent. You got some people, well, I want to go to Egypt. They thinking that they're going to go somewhere by the Suez Canal. It is close to it. But it's on the African continent. All right? Go ahead and, where you at?
46.
Go ahead and read.
And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, the king of Egypt.
Yes.
And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went throughout all the land of Egypt.
Yes.
And in the 7 plentiful years of earth brought forth handfuls.
Uh-huh.
And he gathered up all the foods of the 7 years which were in the land of Egypt, and laid up the floods of the flood in the city.
The food of the 7 years.
Yeah, the floods in the city, and the food of the field which was round about the city.
Uh-huh.
Laid up in his same.
Uh-huh. Verse 49.
And Joseph gathered corn as the sands of the sea, very much, until he left numbering, for it was without number.
Keep on reading.
And unto Joseph was born 2 sons before the years of the famine came.
Yes.
Which
Asenath,
the daughter of Potiphar,
uh-huh,
priest of On, bearing unto him.
That bearing unto him. Verse 56, skip 2.
56.
Yes.
And the famine was over all the face of the earth.
Yes.
And Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold unto the Egyptians, and the famine waxed the stores of land of Egypt.
Uh-huh.
And all countries came unto the Egypt and Joseph for to buy corn,
Yes.
because the famine was so sore in all the lands.
Yes.
Now, we're going to 42.
57.
In the countries, I did reach 57.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Now look, you see that Joseph got his wife from an Egyptian. Now we're going to see something else right now. Let's go back to the 38th chapter of Genesis, because I'm going to show you something real fast, okay? The 38th chapter of Genesis, we're going to read a couple of verses here. Read verse 1.
And it came to pass that time that Judah went down from his brethren and turned into a certain Adullamite, whose name was Hira.
Uh-huh.
And Judah saw there in the daughter of a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shua, and he took her and went into her.
Verse 3.
And she conceived and bare a son and called him his name
Now skip down to verse 6.
And Judah took his wife from his firstborn, whom he named Tamar.
Now let me go ahead and let you know something. All of Israel, which is Jacob's sons, got their wives from Canaanite women. They did not intermarry because there was only two that Jacob had that were female. So where did they get their wives from? The Canaanite women. Now we already proven that the Canaanite women are of the seed of Ham, which is in the land of Ham, which we call Africa. They black. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put something out here on the table. If we weren't black, all the whiteness would have been bred out of us by now. Because of the wives. You take on the characteristics of what you're planted in. All right? Go back to Genesis 41. Genesis 41. Pick it up on verse 46. Genesis 41, verse 46. Read it.
And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, the king of Egypt.
Yes.
And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went throughout all the land of Egypt.
Verse 47.
In the 7 plenteous years of the earth brought forth by handfuls.
Now, skip down to 53.
In the 7 years of plenteousness that there was, the land of Egypt were ended.
Yes.
And the 7 years of dearth began to come. According to Joseph had said, and the dearth was in all the lands.
Yes.
In all the lands of Egypt there was bread.
But in all the lands of Egypt there was bread. Now, I want to go ahead and take out the time. Is that graphic up right now? Let's see if the graphic is up. Go ahead. All right, it's a couple more down. Let me go ahead and do this real fast. I'm going to do it anyway. In this book here, I like using books. This is the Zondervan Pictorial Bible Dictionary. It's a Bible dictionary. He's going to read for you Ham. Okay? He's going to read for you Ham. Okay? Read Ham. Read that.
The youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood.
Yes.
And one of the 8 persons to live through the flood.
So this is Ham, Noah's son. Continue on to read.
He became the progenitor of the dark race.
Of the dark races.
Not the Negroes.
Not the Negroes. But read that again. Run that back, DJ.
He became the progenitor of the dark races.
Not
the Negroes.
Not the Negroes.
But the Egyptians,
But the Egyptians,
Ethiopians,
Ethiopians,
Libyans,
Libyans,
Canaanites,
Canaanites.
his enmity was when his father lay drunken, brought a curse upon the Canaan.
Now, who are the Negroes then? We dark-skinned. We're not Hamitic. We're not Gentile. We're not from the seed of Japheth. What's left? Shem. I'm showing you something right now. Okay? I'm showing you something. Go to Genesis 45. Genesis 45. Nope. 42. 42. Go to Genesis 42. I'm getting ahead of myself, but I had to do that. Okay? Because I want you to get this. Genesis 42. This is when his brothers came around because of the famine in the land. They wanted to get some food. Okay? Genesis 42, pick it up on the 1. Read.
Now, when Jacob saw that there were corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons,
Yes.
why do you look upon another? And he said, behold, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt.
There's corn in Egypt.
Get you down thither and buy for us
From this.
from thence,
Uh-huh.
that we may live and not die.
So he went on and told his boys, get on down there and get some corn down there, because some corn down in Egypt, because if we don't have none, it's a family in all the land and we'll die from hunger. Okay, keep reading.
And Joseph's 10 brethren went down to buy corn in Egypt. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob sent not with his brethren, for he said, lest peradventure,
Peradventure,
mischief.
He was the one youngest to them all. He didn't want them to go out there and starting no trouble. You know what I'm saying? He was the mischievous one. Okay, what verse you at?
5.
All right, keep on reading.
And the sons of Israel came to buy corn amongst those that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan.
Yes, it was all over the land. Keep reading. Now this goes here, this right here. That one verse lets me know the geographical location of everything. Egypt in Canaan. It's in the African continent. Okay? I'm letting you all know that in the African continent where the Canaanites was is the promised land. The promised land is where Jerusalem was set up at. They made Israel into a whole nother state. I gave you a geographical location of where everything is. This is where the known world was. Continue on to read.
And Joseph was governor over the land.
Yes.
And it was that sold to all the people of the land.
Yes.
And Joseph's brethren came,
Yes.
bowed down themselves before him, with their faces to the earth.
Now Joseph already had a dream, and he said, okay, you, the 11 stars, and the sun and moon is going to make obeisance to me. Y'all going to bow down to me. And guess what's happening? They doing it. Continue on to read.
And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them.
Yes.
And he said unto them, whence come ye?
Yes.
And they said, from the land of Canaan, to buy food.
Keep on reading.
And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew him not.
Because the last time they seen him, he was 17 years old. 14 years passed, plus the time that he was in jail, that's 2 more years. The boy had to be what? 30, 32 something years old. You think that he remembered? They remember what he looked like? You look different from 17. I look different from 17. I'm skinny. Continue on to read. Where you at?
9.
Go ahead.
And Joseph remembered the dreams which he had dreamed
Yes.
of them, and said unto them, Ye
are spies.
to see the nakedness of the land ye are come.
Yes.
And they said unto him, Nay, my lord, but to buy food are thy servants came.
Yes.
We are all one man's sons.
Yes.
We are true men, thy servants are no spies. And he said unto them, Nay, but to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. And they said, Thy servants are 12 brethren, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan.
Yes.
And behold, the youngest is this day with our father, and one is not.
And one is not. The youngest, which was Benjamin, the one younger than Joseph, was with Jacob. And one is not. Where's the one that is not? He's right there talking to him. The count wasn't wrong. All right, skip down to verse 18.
And Joseph said unto them, the third day,
Yes.
this do I live.
This do and live. Keep on reading.
For I fear God.
For I feel God.
If ye be true men,
Yes.
let one of your brethren be bound in the house of your prison.
He said, if you be true men, let one of your brethren stay right here, because I want you to go ahead and do something for me. Keep on reading.
Go ye, carry corn for the famine of your houses.
Yes.
But bring your youngest brother unto me.
Yes.
So shall your words
be verified.
and ye shall not die. And they did so.
Yes.
And they said one to another, We are verily guilty concerning our brother.
Yes.
And that we saw in the anguish of his soul when
Yes.
he besought us.
Yes.
And we will not hear.
Yes.
Thereof is the distress came upon us.
Now, look, they're talking about when they put Joseph in the pit. They seen the anguish of his soul. Somebody wanted to say, well, you can't see somebody's soul. Yes, you can. The soul is the total sum of yourself. So when I look at Tasha and Tasha cry, I'm watching her soul cry. She usually cry when she sees some kind of girly movie on TV. All right? Go ahead and read.
And Reuben answered them, saying, Spake I not unto you, saying, Do not sin against the child,
Yes.
and ye will not hear. Therefore, behold, also his blood is required.
Also his blood is required. Verse 23.
And they knew not that Joseph understood them, for he spake unto them by an interpreter.
They didn't know what his brother looked like. His brother had a whole different type of raiment on him. Didn't know what he looked like at all. And he was sitting up there talking to him with an interpreter. He's playing this thing good, ain't he? Keep on reading, Doug. I'm going to get from behind here.
Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all them that stood by him.
Now you at Genesis 45?
Yes.
Yeah, keep on reading, bro.
Yeah.
Genesis 45.
42.
Where you?
I went to Genesis 45.
Yeah, go to Genesis 45. I want you to go there. Yeah. Genesis 45:1. I'm sorry. That's the reason I asked him. Keep on reading, boy.
All right. 45:1. Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all them that stood by him.
Yes.
And he cried,
Yes.
Because every man go out from me. And there stood no man with him.
Yes.
While Joseph made himself known unto his brethren.
Keep on reading.
And he wept aloud. And the Egyptians in the house of Pharaoh heard.
First of all, he could not keep it. He was about to blow up because he seen his brethren. He missed his brothers. He wanted to go ahead and talk to his brothers. And then he sent everybody out because he didn't want those people to go ahead and misconstrue what he got going on because he's the governor of them all. All right? Continue on to read, Dudley.
And Joseph said unto his brethren,
Yes.
I am Joseph.
I am Joseph.
Does my father yet live?
That's the first thing he wanted to know. Does my daddy live? Was my daddy still living? Keep on reading, Dudley.
And his brother could not answer him, for they was troubled at his presence.
They thought they seen the ghost. Like, we done sold this boy to the Ishmaelites, and we know that he was done for. Continue on to read.
And Joseph said unto his brethren, Come near unto me, I pray ye.
Uh-huh.
And they came near and said, I am Joseph,
And he said, I am Joseph. Keep on reading.
your brother,
Uh-huh.
whom ye sold into Egypt.
That's when everything clicked right there because they knew what they did. That was over 30 years ago. Continue on to read.
Now therefore be not grieved,
Uh-huh.
nor angry with yourselves,
Uh-huh.
that ye sold me hither,
Uh-huh.
for God has sent me before you to preserve life.
God had his hand in this whole situation. He made this thing happen. Skip down to verse 9.
Haste ye,
Uh-huh.
and go up to my father, and say unto him, Thus saith thy son Joseph,
Uh-huh.
God had made me Lord of all Egypt.
God has made me the Lord of all of Egypt. Now, this great land here, you know, where you said all of this great architecture, all this great civilization. I'm going to tell you, there was this boy here, this Hebrew boy, running everything. Mm-hmm. Keep on reading, Deldrick. Skip down. Keep on reading.
Come down unto me, tarry not.
Now skip to 25.
And they went up out of Egypt,
Uh-huh.
and came into the land of Canaan,
Yes.
unto Jacob their father,
Yes.
and told him, saying, Joseph is yet alive,
Yes.
and he is governor over all the land of Egypt.
Yes.
And Jacob's heart fainted, for
Yeah.
he believed them not.
Uh-huh.
And they told him all the words of Joseph, which he had said unto them. When he saw the wagons which Joseph had sent to carry him, the spirit of Jacob, their father, revived.
His spirit revived, meaning that his spirit was happy. My son lives. Continue on to read, Dudley.
And Israel said, It is enough. Joseph, my son, is yet alive. I will go and see him before I die.
I'm going to go see him before I die. Now, I'm going to point out something to you real fast. How can his brothers misconstrue Joseph for an Egyptian if they did not have the same hue? They didn't know that Joseph was their brother. He had his head shaved, right? He had on the Egyptian garments. But you look at his hand, you look at his face, it is the same hue. Okay? I'm making a point out to you. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you even further with the word of God. So go to the 50th chapter of Genesis. The 50th chapter of Genesis. I'm going to take my time. I'm glad that you brought your Bible. I'm glad that you brought your paper. Now, I hope that you have equipped with you your patience. Because I'm going to go ahead and show you this. I have to do it this way. I'm not going to be like what some of these other preachers. I'm going to just go ahead and take a text and tell you what I think about it. I got to show you the whole thing. Okay? I have to do it this way. Because if you don't, you could be misconstrued. I don't want to do that. I'm delivering myself. Amen. The 50th chapter. The 50th chapter of Genesis. Pick it up on verse 5.
My father made me swear, saying, Lo, I die.
Uh-huh.
In my grave which I have digged for me in the land of Canaan,
Yes.
there shalt thou bury me.
So this is what Joseph has told Pharaoh. Hey, my father made me promise when he died, I'm going to take him back to Canaan. To put him in the grave that he wanted me to put him in. Continue on to read.
There shall thou bury me. Okay. Now, therefore, let me go up, I pray thee, and bury my father, and I will come again.
Verse 6.
And Pharaoh says, Go up and bury thy father, according as he made such thee swear.
Verse 7.
And Joseph went up to bury his father, and with him up all the servants of Pharaoh, and the elders of his house,
Yes.
and all the elders of the land of Egypt,
Yes.
and all the land, and all the house of Joseph,
Uh-huh.
and his brethren, and in his father's house.
Uh-huh.
Only their little ones and their flocks and their herds they
Now,
left.
this is a culmination of Egyptians, Israelites, all together with a big train going to Canaan to go ahead and bury Joseph's father. Continue on to read.
They left in the lands of Goshen,
Uh-huh.
and there went up with him both chariots and horsemen, and it was very great company.
It was a very great company. Verse 10.
And they came into the
Threshing
threshing
floor
floor of the
of
Atad, which is beyond Jordan.
Uh-huh.
And there they moored with great and very sore
Limitations.
and they made him mourning for his father.
And he made a mourning for his father 7 days. Give me something to drink and get him something to drink. Verse 11. Read.
And when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning in the floor of Atad,
Uh-huh.
they said, "This is grievous mourning for to the Egyptians."
This is a grievous mourning of the Egyptians. What did it say, Egyptians and Israelites? It just said Egyptians, right? Continue on to read.
Wherefore the name of it called
Abel Mizraim,
Abel Mizraim, which is beyond Jordan.
meaning Abel Mizraim is a mourning of the Egyptians. We just seen it was Israelites there. All of Joseph's brothers was there. They couldn't tell the difference. All right. Now, I think I got some graphics up here now. Go ahead and put that up. I want to show you something. See, you see that? That's Queen Ty. That's Queen Ty. That's King Tut's grandmother. She looks like any sister, don't she? Go to the next one. See, that's King Tut right there. He look like a brother, don't he? Go to the next. Now, right here, look. These are all the souls that came out of Jacob. 70 souls came out of Jacob. Now, look, there was only 2 girls. There was Sarah. The other one, somewhere on here. All these, there's only 2 girls that came out of him. So it ended up being 69 plus Joseph. 70 souls. 69 plus Joseph. You see it? Now, let's go ahead and look at the Exodus right now, because I want to show you what the Exodus is going to show you. Okay? I got to go through this. You got to know it. We're talking about black history. I'm going to show you black history. Exodus first chapter. Pick it up on the 1, Deldrick. Read it, man.
Now these are the names of the children of Israel, which came into Egypt. Every man in his household came with Jacob:
Yes.
Reuben, Simon, Levi, and Judah;
Uh-huh. Issachar.
Issachar,
Zebulun.
Zebulun, and Benjamin;
Uh-huh.
Dan,
Naphtali.
Naphtali, Gad, and Asher.
Uh-huh.
All the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls.
70 souls. Go back to that. Go back to that graphic. Go back to that graphic. 70 souls came out. There is 69 plus Joseph is there. Continue on to read.
For Joseph was in Egypt already.
Yes.
And Joseph died, and all of his brethren, and all that generation, and the children of Israel were fruitful, and
Yes.
increased abundantly,
Yes.
and multiplied, and waxed exceedingly and mighty.
Let me go ahead and let you know something about us. I don't care what's going on. We know how to make babies. If anybody know how to make babies, we know how to make babies. Okay? I'm going to show you something. Keep on reading. I'm going to show it to you. Read, man.
And the land was filled with them.
Uh-huh.
Now there arose a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph.
Uh-huh.
And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we.
They are more than what we are and mightier than what we are. Because, you know, after a hard day work, we always been in servitude type. After a hard day at work, what do? We go home. At that time, they didn't have no TV. They probably played with an abacus or something. But then after that, they was with their old lady. And that's what they did. We know how to have babies. Continue on to read.
Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and come to pass that when they are falling out any war, they join also unto our enemies.
That let me know that we are strong people too. Aren't we strong? Show is. I'm going to say it just like that. Show is. Continue on to read.
And fight against us, and so get them up out of the land.
Uh-huh.
Therefore they did set over them taskmasters.
Oh, now we got the overseer now. Uh-huh.
To afflict them with their burdens.
Uh-huh.
And they built for Pharaoh the
treasure cities, Python, and Ramesses. So who built the pyramids? We did. In fact, we were the architects. We were the ones who figured out the mathematical situations, how to put a pyramid together and make it in such a great monument. They big, aren't they? You can see them from space. Where you at?
12.
Go ahead.
But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew.
I want to go ahead and put this out here. I told you we know how to have babies, right? Now, today, in today's time, where is the greatest population of babies being conceived at? The projects. They popping out babies left and right in the projects. Why? We can be in the worst situation. No car, no bank account, credit bad and everything. We have our old lady. And what happens? We have the baby. And you know, we don't really believe in abortion. Baby just here now. We just have babies. Even in our hard times, we have babies. There's no other nation in this world now will have a hard time and have a baby. They'll end up doing like Jacob's son did, spilling on the ground. All right? I'm trying to go ahead and get you all to be in this mind frame right now. We're talking about color. But everything that we're talking about culminates with us today. Read, Dudley.
And they were grieved because of the children of the children of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And the Egyptians made the children of Israel served with
Vigor.
vigor. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage and mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the fields. All their service wherein they made them serve
Yes.
was with rigor.
Vigor.
And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrews midwives,
All right. Keep on reading.
of which the names of the ones was
Sephora.
and the name of the other
Pua.
And he said, when ye do the office of the midwives to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill them. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live.
But keep on reading.
But the midwives feared God and did not, as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive.
Now skip down to 22.
And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive.
Let me let you know something right now. This is genocide. How is it genocide? If you kill the males, you will kill the nation. You are what your daddy is. So what do you mean by that? All the males, they are going to continue on the seed and giving the seeds. All right? She put her little thing on. All right, you got to turn that down. But all the women, they was going to receive the seed from somewhere else. This is genocide here. He was trying to kill a whole people. This is the first time that this situation happened. Why, you try to go ahead and think that Adolf Hitler was committing genocide. He didn't kill off all the males. He was just trying to kill off a whole bunch of folks. But if you kill the males, you kill the nation. You are what your daddy is. I tell people this all the time. When you plant some corn in the ground, are you going to, when that corn comes up and it's a stalk, what you going to call it? You're going to call it corn. You ain't going to call it half corn, half dirt. So there ain't no such thing as mixed people. If your daddy is Dominican and your mama's Russian, what are you? You're Dominican. You're not mixed. It's not a mulatto situation. Mulatto is a way that people want to identify you. 1923 came about. They brought in the census that they wanted to have documented for all marriages. So they required for people to have a marriage license for one reason and one reason only, to find out how many of black people were marrying white people. That's the reason why the marriage license exists in the first place. I got a marriage license because I got to go ahead and make sure that my wife has insurance. I have to do that. I got to make sure that she is taken care of the way she needs to be taken care of. That's the reason why I'm telling people, look here, if you're going to get married, at least do it that way. All right? Go to the second chapter of Exodus. Right now, we're going to go ahead and run into Moses right now. Thank you for your patience. We're trying to get through. Second chapter of Exodus. Pick it up on the 1, Delta.
And there went a man of the house of Levi,
Yes.
and took to a wife a daughter of Levi.
So now you have something that came from a daughter of Levi and his father's Levi. This is the interbreeding of Israel. Okay? There's enough of us so we can interbreed. Read.
And the woman conceived and bare a son.
Yes.
And when she saw him that he was a goodly child, she hid him for 3 months.
Yes.
And when she could not longer hide him, she took for him an ark of bulrushes and dabbled it with slime and with pitch and put the child therein.
Yes.
And she laid it in the flags by the river brink.
The flags are just like reeds. Okay? Continue on to read.
And his sister stood afar off to wit that would be done to him.
So Miriam, his sister, was watching where this little boat was floating to. Okay? She kept her eye on it. Continue on to read, Dudley.
And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river.
Yes.
And her maidens walked along by the riverside. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maids to fetch it.
Keep on reading.
And when she had opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the babe wept. And she had compassion for him and said, This is one of the Hebrews' childs.
This is one of the Hebrews' children. Continue on to read.
Then said his sister to Pharaoh's daughter, Shall I go and call to the 3 nurses of the Hebrew women that she...
Okay. He said, then said his sister, Miriam said to Pharaoh's daughter, said to her, and this is what she said. Said it to her, take the child away. Now I'm going to go ahead and go up because I messed that up. Okay. It says right here, then said his sister Miriam to Pharaoh's daughter, shall I go and call to thee a nurse of the Hebrew women? Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Okay? All right. Read, Deldrick, after that.
That she may nurse the child for thee?
That she may nurse and raise the child for you. Read.
And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, Go. And the maid went and called for the child's mother.
Oh, my God. So she went and got Moses' mother.
Yes.
This bananas that whole movie.
Right.
That Moses didn't know who he was.
Right.
His mother raised him.
Yes.
His mother let him know who he was.
Yes.
That just going put that thing down in the trash, didn't it?
Right.
Continue on to read, Deldrick.
And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, Take this child away and nurse it for me, and I will give thee thy wages.
So she not only had the boy, put the boy in the boat so he could get away from it, Pharaoh's daughter found him, and then she gave it back to her mother to go ahead and nurse the child. Now she's getting paid for it.
That's all, baby.
Ain't he though?
Yes.
Read, man.
And the woman took the child and nursed it.
Uh-huh.
And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter,
Yes.
and he became her son.
Oh, my goodness.
And she called his name Moses.
Uh-huh.
And she said, Because I drew him out of the water.
Now look, Moses, is not an Israelite name. It is an Egyptian name, meaning taken out the water. All right? We caught that? Keep on reading, Deldrick.
And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown, that he went out of his brethren and looked on the burdens, and he spied on the Egyptian smiting an Hebrew, one of his brethren, and he looked this way and that way, And when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand.
First of all, he looked around. Ain't nobody gonna see me. Let me go ahead and you messing with my brother.
Right.
But check this out. There was no Egyptian around,
Right.
but Israel was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let me show you about Israel. Okay, keep reading.
And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of Hebrews strove together.
Yes.
And he said to him that did the wrong, wherefore smitest thou thy fellow?
Thy fellow, keep on reading.
And he said, who made thee a prince and a judge over us?
Uh-huh.
Intendest thou to kill me
Uh-huh.
as thou killest an Egyptian?
You know Israel can't hold water.
Right.
They knew what happened. And Moses knew, okay, if they know, I know Pharaoh is going to find out too. I better get the scoop. You remember in the movie, they took him back to Pharaoh? Nuh-uh. He got on this way because if he went back to Pharaoh, he would have been dead on arrival. All right? Continue on to read, Douglas.
And Moses feared and said, surely this thing is known. Now, when Pharaoh heard these things, he sought to slay Moses.
Uh-huh.
But Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh
Yes.
and dwelt in the land of Midian.
Uh-huh.
And he sat down by the well.
Yes.
Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water and filled the troughs to the water their father flocks.
Yes.
And the shepherds came and drove them away.
And he went on and drove those shepherds away because they were trying to go ahead and, oh, you feeding your flocks, let me feed my flocks. Continue on to read, Douglas.
But Moses stood up and helped them
Uh-huh.
and to water their flocks. And when they had came to Reuel, their father, he said, how is it that ye are come so soon today?
Uh-huh.
And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hands of the shepherds.
Run that back, DJ.
And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the
One
hand.
more time, DJ.
And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds.
And stop. Was Moses an Egyptian? How could they not tell the difference? Oh, wow. I wanted to go ahead and pull that out. Okay? Now, I can go through this whole thing with how he was in the midst of the flaming bush and all that, and how his hands turned to leprosy. In fact, let me go ahead and read that. Go to the 4th chapter of Exodus, because I want you to know what leprosy is. Go to the 4th chapter. There should be a graphic there. Yeah, let me see that. Go to the 4th chapter. Yeah. Now look at this. Look at this. This is leprosy on the hands. Okay? You see, you see that it's something common that we see around here. But his hands came out to be completely white. Let's read it. Exodus 4. Read verse 1.
And Moses answered and said, but behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice. For they will say, the Lord hath not appeared unto me.
Yes.
And the Lord said unto him, what is that in thy hand?
Yes.
And he said, a rod.
A rod is in your hand.
And he said, cast it into the ground. And he cast it into the ground. And it became a serpent. And Moses fled from before it.
He seen that rod turn into a serpent. He was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Keep on reading, man. No, go ahead and read down to verse 6. Read verse 6.
And the Lord said furthermore unto him, put now thy hand unto thy bosom.
Now put your hand in your clothes, man. Read.
And he put thy hand into his bosom, and he took it out before his hand was leprous as snow.
So he put his hand in his clothes and took his hands out, and he didn't have no melanin no more. You got to be kidding me. Something's up. Read.
And he said, put thine hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again and plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it turned again as his other flesh.
As his other flesh. So he was black, but his hands turned white. Put it back in, and his hands was back black again. All right. So now we see what is going on with this. All right. I wanted to go ahead and show you all this just so you can see that color is a part of who you are. All right. I'm going to skip around a little bit, Deldrick. Let's go to the 105th Psalms. Go to the 105th Psalms. Because, you know, it was Moses that ushered the people into Gaza and told them, okay, look here. Put the blood on the top post and the two side posts on the 14th day of Abib, and that's going to be a Passover. Now, let me let you know something about this Passover here, okay? When that happened, was the death angel looking for the Israelite? Was he looking for an Egyptian to kill? No, he was looking for what? The blood. Whenever you are covered under the blood, that death angel is going to pass right over you. That's covenant there. That's the reason why it's important to get baptized. Because you are baptized into the covenant. We deal with a God of covenants. He don't deal with anything else. He only deal with his covenants only. All right. All right. Dr. Ward, I need you. Psalms 105. 105. Psalms 105. Psalms 105. We're going to Psalms 105. We're going to pick it up at verse 16. Psalms 105, verse 16. And this is what David's going to run the whole thing through. Read it.
Moreover, he called for a famine upon the land. He brake the whole staff of bread.
Yes.
He sent a man before them, even Joseph, who was sold for a servant.
Yes.
Whose feet they hurt with feathers.
Yes.
He was laid on an iron.
Yes.
Until the time of the word came. The word of the Lord tried him.
Keep on reading.
The king sent him and loosed him. Yes. Even the ruler of the people, and let him go free.
Yes.
He made him lord of his house and ruler of all his substances.
Keep on reading.
To bind his princes at his pleasure, and teach his senators wisdom.
Who did the Egyptians get the wisdom from? Taught the senators wisdom. Keep on reading.
Israel also came into Egypt, and Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham.
Yes.
And he increased his people greatly, and made them stronger than their enemies.
Keep on reading.
And turned their heart to hate his people, to deal subtly with servants. He sent Moses his servant, and Aaron whom he had chosen. They sold his signs among them, and wonders in the land of Ham.
And showed them the signs and wonders in the land of Ham. All of Ham's descendants are black. So are Jacob's, Israel's children. But the Israelites were Semitic. They were from the seed of Shem, not the seed of Ham. Needed to get that thing through. Now, I want to show you some similarities here. Just like Moses had to hide among the Egyptians in the palace of the Egyptians. I got a grandson now. Now, when he gets a little bit older, he'll probably come on up here, and it's going to be many times when he's probably going to come and sit in Paul's lap. I can tell that he is of the family. How do I know? Because he don't look outside of the family. Moses sat on Pharaoh's lap a lot. He had to, because I sat on my grandpa's lap. Got a quarter from him every time. My grandfather, if I was white, my grandfather would say, "Who's this kid?" If Moses was white, Pharaoh would be like, "Who's this kid?" But he wasn't. I'm just trying to show something to you. Now, I'm going to give you a similarity here. Moses was hid in the palace. Jesus had to hide in Egypt too. Let's go ahead and see it. Matthew's the second chapter. Matthew's the second chapter. That's that graphic there. It was talking about Ham. We already read it. Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. Not the Negroes. Right. Matthew's the second chapter. Go ahead, quickly. Read verse 1. Read.
Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east of Jerusalem.
There came 3 wise men from the east.
There came wise men from the east to
Let
Jerusalem.
me let you all know something. It could have been 2, it could have been 2,000. And it never gave it a number. It said wise men. I wanted to go ahead and dismiss that myth too. Okay? Keep on reading.
Saying, where is he that is born King of the Jews?
Yes.
For we have seen his star in the east and are come to worship him.
Verse 3.
When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all of Jerusalem with him.
Now let me let you know something. When Herod heard that, Herod is a heart attack. Let me just go ahead and put it out there like that. Herod is just a straight heart attack. He's cancer on wheels. I'm going to tell you why. He killed his brother-in-law. He killed his wives. He killed anybody that he thought was going to take his throne away from him.
That's right. He sure did.
And now he heard that there's somebody that is born king of the Jews. Let me find this cat so I can kill him too.
Right.
All right. Skip down to verse 7.
Then Herod, when he had previously
Privately
called the wise men, inquiring of them diligently what time the star appeared,
verse 8.
and he sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and search diligently for the young child, and when ye have find him, bring me word again that I might come and worship him also.
So he wanted to go ahead and put some trickery on him.
Yeah.
Find the child. I'm going to worship him too. Hey, young man, you're going to have to be quiet because I'm the one talking.
Amen.
All right.
All right.
Now, verse 12. Verse 12, go.
And being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed unto their own countries another way.
Verse 13.
And when they were departed, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, arise and take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt.
What? You see the similarity?
Oh, Oh, yeah.
Let me go ahead and give you another similarity. Okay? Everybody in Moses' generation was dead.
All right. All right.
Because
All right.
why? All the males in Moses' generation was dead because Pharaoh gave the order to kill all the males.
That's right. That's right.
All the males in Jesus' generation was dead. Why? Because Herod was trying to kill the child
That's right. That's
for
right.
2 years.
2 years and under. Wow.
I'm going to go ahead and prove it to you.
He was vicious.
So we're going to the history book.
Vicious.
We're going to the history book.
Okay.
I want you to read the highlighted portion. Go ahead and cite your findings. What book we're reading from?
Great people of the Bible and within lived.
How they live. What page you reading from?
This is page 301, Palestinians in the time of Jesus.
Read.
When Jesus was born in 6 BC, Palestine had been under Roman control for more than half a century. In 63 BC,
Yes.
Pompey
Pompeii.
put an area under control of new Roman province
Province
for Syria.
of Syria. Uh-huh.
In 40 BC, Rome designated Heron the king of Judah, which meant nearly the whole of Palestine. Heron reigned until his death of 4 BC, at which the time the
territory.
was divided amongst his 3 sons.
Let me go ahead and stop you right there. Herod, he was the king of everything.
Yes, he was.
And anything that the Romans wanted to do, or anything he wanted the Romans to do, all he got to do is put the request in and they would have did it. So if Jesus now was in Rome, Italy, all he got to do, here in Rome, Italy, he just go ahead and say, hey, you need to bring Jesus on back here. Let me deal with him.
Right.
But due to the fact he hid in a Hamitic society where everybody is the same hue, he couldn't find him. Go to the next graphic. I want to show you something. Now, if Jesus was white,
Twice. Uh-huh.
no, Edomites is not white.
No.
But if he was white,
Mm-hmm.
a Gentile,
Gentile. Right.
this is what he looked like.
That's right. Among all of us.
Now check this out. If Jesus
Uh-huh.
went somewhere else,
Okay.
he would have stuck out like a sore thumb. But due to the fact that he went to the land of Ham,
All right.
I'm going to let that sink in.
He could hide himself.
He can hide. Now, go to Acts the 13th chapter. Acts the 13th chapter. Quickly. Niger means black. I just want people to understand that.
Right.
We're going to read verses 1 and 2. Read.
Acts 13.
Acts 13. When you get it, read it.
Now there were in the church that was in Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas
Barnabas
and Simeon, that was
was
called Niger,
called black.
and Lucius
a
and
Cyrene,
and
Menon,
Manaen, which had been brought up with Herod
the
Tetrarch and Saul. They ministered to the Lord and fasted the Holy Ghost, saying, separate
me, Barnabas,
and Saul for the works whereunto I have called them.
Let me go ahead and pull something out here. We are dealing with a whole people of color here.
That's true.
Okay? I want to go ahead and show you something. And I'm gonna go backwards, Deldrick. I'm gonna go backwards. But I want to show you something. Okay? Go to the 21st chapter of Acts. I need for you to know that the assignment came from Barnabas to Barnabas, Paul, and Niger. Okay, the assignment is there. Now, go to the 21st chapter of Acts, read verse 37. Read.
And as Paul was to be laid unto the castle, he said unto the chief captain, May I speak unto thee?
Yes.
Who said, Canst thou speak Greek?
Can you speak Greek, man? Keep on reading.
Art not thou Egyptian?
Now, Paul could not be misconstrued as an Egyptian because Paul was white. No, he wasn't. He was a brother. He was misconstrued as an Egyptian. Continue on to read.
Which before these days madest an uproar and leadest out into the wilderness 4,000 men and were murdered.
Look, in 639, this is during this time right here. Okay? This is the 4th century. 639. Egypt was ransacked by the Arabs. The Arabs went on and overtook it. Okay? Ransacked. So, with the Arabs overtaking them, what happened? The people that you see in Egypt today aren't the people that was in Egypt then.
That's true.
I'm going to prove it to you. Go to the history book. Right here. I got history to prove this to you.
All right. Prove it.
Cite your fire. What book you reading from?
Reading for the last 2 million years.
What page?
381.
All right. And what's the heading? Should be Islamic rule.
Islamic rule. 369 through 1798. During the rise of the great Islamic Arab Empire, Egypt was speedily conquered by Arabs between AD 639 and 642. By 1200, the Arabs rulers of Egypt had come under the influence of their soldiers and advisors.
Yes.
The Mamelukes, originally slaves, the Mamelukes seized the power in 1250 and maintained their rule until 1517.
So now you see why it said in Acts 21, this is the whole situation that was going on, the uproar. We see that now. Okay? I had to prove this to you in history to let you know what was going on.
Right.
It's recorded history. All right? Now, go to Amos. Amos, the second chapter. I'm going to let you know something. When Paul and Barnabas and Niger and Simeon was all there, they was only black people in the church at the time. How do I know that? Well, let's go ahead and see. Amos 2 and 6, read. Oh, man, Amos is this way. Come on, man.
Amos 2.
Amos 2 and 6. Amos 2 and verse 6. Read it.
Thus said the Lord. For three transgressions of Israel, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof.
Yes.
Because they sold the righteousness for silver, and the poor of the pair for shoes.
For a pair of shoes. Skip down to verse 9.
Yet destroyed I the Amorite before them.
Yes.
whose height was like the height of the cedars,
Cedars.
and he was strong as an oak.
Yes.
Yet I destroyed his fruit from above,
Yes.
and his roots from beneath.
Verse 10.
I also I brought you up from the land of Egypt,
Yes.
and led you 40 years through the wilderness, and possessed the land of Amorites.
And you possess the land of the Amorites. Continue on to read.
And I raised up of your sons for prophets.
I raised up your sons for prophets.
And of your young men as
Nazarites.
Is it not even thus, O ye children of Israel, saith the Lord?
So there were only Israelites in the church, and Paul had not even been converted yet then.
No, not yet.
This is, I'm talking about when we read Acts 13.
Okay, that's right.
I'm putting it all together for you.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
All right. All right. Whew. I got that thing through, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
All right. I'm getting a little bit distracted, but we're going to work it out because my kids is going to obey me, right? Amen. All right. All right. So go to Acts 11. Acts 11. Acts 11. We're going to read verse 1. I got to get through this because I want you to know something here. I only got 3 more places to go when we almost done. 3 more places to go. We almost done. Acts 11. After this, I got 3 more places to go, young people. Acts 11 and pick it up on the 1. Read it, Delta.
And the apostles and brethren that were in Judea heard that the Gentiles had also received the word of God.
Yeah.
And when Peter was come up to Jerusalem, that they were of circumcisions that contained with him.
Contend with him. Verse 3.
Saying, thou wentest into the man of uncircumcised, and didst eat with them.
So this Peter had rehearsed everything because they were supposed to be mingling with anybody who is not the tribe, the covenant, and put it up on the board so I can see it. 10th chapter. Pick it up on verse 1. Read.
When they had called unto him the 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits to cast them out, to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of diseases.
Now skip down to verse 5.
These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not unto the way of the Gentiles, and unto the city of Samaritans, enter ye not.
Let me read that all over again. These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not. But what he say, read?
But go rather unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Why did Jesus say that? This is why Jesus told the disciples, the apostles this. Because they had to teach us first.
That's right, because we had to teach them.
You cannot sit up there and have any teachers without having training.
That's right. So we had to be taught first.
Okay?
That's right.
Then, when Peter had that situation with Cornelius, the Bible went on and said, there was a sheet that had all manner of four-footed beasts on there, and Peter said, "Hey," he told her, "Rise, Peter, kill and eat." And Peter said, "Hey, I haven't eaten anything unclean, uncommon."
That's right. Nothing unclean.
When you keep on reading, you're gonna find out that he said, "Don't call any man common or unclean."
Right. Keep on reading. Stop. Don't stop. Keep reading.
What do you mean by that?
Right.
Jesus gave Peter the keys to the kingdom.
Right.
When he gave him the keys to the kingdom, he allowed for him to usher in the first Gentile into the flock.
He sure did. He sure did. Thank you, Jesus.
Okay?
They came on board.
And the angel of the Lord spake unto Philip, saying, Arise, and go towards the south unto the way that goeth down from Jerusalem to Gaza, which is desert.
Now, somebody think that that Israel was talking to somebody else. You know, Philip still had to go ahead and talk to Israel only.
That's right.
Okay? Continue on 27.
And he arose and went, and behold, a man of Ethiopian and Enchu,
A eunuch,
in great authority under Candace, queen of Ethiopians, who had charge of all of her treasures, and had came unto Jerusalem to worship.
What? He came to Jerusalem to worship for what? Because 3 times out of the year,
3 times out of the year,
we are supposed to be going up there for the Feast of Unleavened Bread,
that's right.
Feast of
Bible.
Weeks,
That's the
and the
Bible.
ingathering.
That's the Bible.
Okay?
Right.
So he's an Israelite.
He's an Israelite. He had
Continue on to read.
Was returning and sitting in his chariot, read Isaiah the prophet.
He was reading Isaiah.
Isaiah. Then the Spirit said unto him, unto Philip, Go near and join thyself to the chariot. And Philip ran thither to him and heard him reading the prophet Isaiah, and said, Understandest thou what thou readest?
So look, he's teaching. The apostle was teaching the Israelite. And the Bible said he was an Ethiopian.
Right. Black man.
Woo! A black man.
Yes.
Okay? I'm putting this thing out for you so you can understand this. I gotta speak a little bit louder because I gotta contend over here. Go ahead and read.
And he said, How can I, except some man should guide me?
Yes.
And he desired Philip that he would come up and sit with him.
Yes.
The place of the scripture which he read was this: He was led as a sheep to the slaughter, and like a lamb dumb before his shearers. So opened he not his mouth. In his humiliation, his judgment was taken away.
Yes.
And who shall declare his generation? For his life is taken from this earth.
Verse 34.
And the eunuch answered Philip and said, I pray thee, of whom speaketh the prophet this? Of himself or some other man?
What did Philip say?
Then Philip opened his mouth and began at the same scripture and preached unto him Jesus.
And preached unto him Jesus. Who are the teachers? Who are the teachers?
And we are.
And what's the real reason for you to understand your color? This is the real reason why people have to understand the color.
Right.
If you was out in the desert with no food and no water, somewhere you got to figure out how to find the oasis.
That's right.
Just like that, you find the one of color, and you can find the word of God.
Yes.
Okay?
Amen.
All right. This is the last place. One verse here. Deuteronomy 16 and 16. Deuteronomy 16 and 16.
All right.
Read it, Delbert.
3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before the Lord thy God in a place which he shall choose.
Didn't I tell you that the eunuch had to come up to Jerusalem for the feast?
That's right.
Keep on reading, Delbert.
And the feast of unleavened bread,
The feast of unleavened bread,
and in the feast of weeks,
the feast of weeks,
and in thy feast of tabernacles,
and the feast of tabernacles.
and they shall not appear before the Lord empty.
The Ethiopian Israelite in Acts 8 was simply doing what was commanded him by God to appear before him 3 times out of the year.
Yes. Amen.
All right. Now, I want to go ahead and seal this thing. Give me that next graphic. This is the Philotian. You can tell, even though he's wearing a little star rim for him, but you know he's a Philotian. You can see that he's of hue. I'm going to go ahead. I zoomed this up right here so I can read this. Go to the next one. I zoomed it up. Historians see Philotians as possible descendants from the Israel's tribe of Dan. What? You a Philotian? You are laughing at us. Are there any white Philotians? That was the way that the people of Beta Israel were greeted. French Semitic scholar Joseph Harvey, upon his arrival to in the Ethiopia in the last century, Jews are black.
Right.
So Harvey, student of Jacques Favelinich, who became the founder of the American Pro-Philotian Committee. Go to the next one. Rabbi commenting on the Philotians and was urging their return to Israel, have included Rabbi Ezra Hindemer, a leader of the European Orthodox community, who once wrote to Beta Israel, "Do not lose courage, my brethren," repeating the words of Rabbi David Ibn Zimra in 1479 to 1589 of Egypt. Separate Chief Rabbi Avadas Yusuf in 1973 referred to the Philotians as being of the seed of Israel, of the tribe of Dan. Give God a hand praise for knowing who you are, just the color of who you are.
That's important. That is important.
I had to start from the ground floor. I had to put it down just like that. Because if you did not know this, you will be among the other people just like us who do not know who we really are. We are the only people in the world who don't know who we are. You can go talk to a German man and say, "Yes, I'm a German."
That's right. They know.
An Irish man say, "Yeah, I'm from Ireland." You can go and talk to somebody from Italy and they're going to lead you right to Sicily.
Right.
But ask any of us where we're from. Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee. And then they want to go beyond that. Africa has 29 countries. Which one?
Which one? I don't know.
I'm letting you know. You are God's chosen people.
Yes, we are.
Israel.
Yes,
Give God a hand. Thank you for your time.